this is pretty massive week coming up, first week of the month, as well as quite a few bunch of high impact news, including FOMC as well as non-farm payroll. We see that this current week that just have closed on DXY, it was a bit of slower movement, but the price almost did as expected. At the moment, what I think that DXY prepared for a big move potentially because of the NFP. So I'll be doing a complete multi-time frame analysis of DXY, gold, and all the instrument that you can see in this list based on the weekly forecast. So before I discuss all of them, traders, make sure you give a thumbs up and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done yet. So with that said, let's begin this week's weekly Forex forecast. Okay, traders, so let's begin first of all with DXY, and then we'll be looking at other important instrument that you can see on the list. So beginning with DXY, starting with the higher time frame, first of all looking at the monthly chart to see overall direction in the market. Now from the monthly, this is almost at the end of the month, and we can see that DXY so far has got a strong rejection from the top. And this monthly candle is closing, breaking all this monthly low. And if we look at the bigger picture here on DXY, it is a long-term bullish market. And in this long-term bull market, we saw quite a few months of consolidation. And we can expect now upside bias. As we see an impulse correction, break of structure, we can expect bounce to the upside again. Dropping down to the weekly chart, we can see that past week there wasn't much volatility. So this week, as it is NFP week, we can expect further upside or huge volatile market condition. Now, what we can see here on DXY, you can see this is a drop here to this support level, which is pretty important support. And below this level, there is a high liquidity. You can see this is a bounce on DXY followed by support retest, another bounce. We saw that series of lower high formation followed by what we can see here, a break of structure followed by past week a narrow doji. Now this price action, what I think that we might see maintaining that series of higher low and can expect an upside bias. And as you can see here on the weekly, the market is forming series of lower high and at the same time series of higher low, and we can expect DXY to bounce back up to the resistance line. Dropping down to the daily chart, we can see a bit more clearer picture here. From the daily, we saw that back-to-back two important wave, almost three waves, and then a rejection, formation of the inverted head and shoulder at the moment on the daily. Now if we look at the past scenario, we saw the same pattern here, an inverted head and shoulder formation, and the market has broken out, started to trend to the upside, tested this resistance, and from that level we saw a retest of the support. Now we saw the same kind of pattern here, an inverted head and shoulder formation, and at the same time with that inverted head and shoulder, this is a very important level of support, and from that support expecting DXY to bounce back to the upside to this resistance level. Now from the lower time frame perspective, from 4 hour, we can see that DXY currently this week was a full on a consolidation. And what we can expect this week for the price, what I think that initially we might see a retest of this support. We could see immediate drop in the beginning of the week or a long week candle, and the price may continue to rise again to this resistance line, and this could be the wave on DXY in the upcoming week. So based on that, we will be analyzing other instrument on such as GBPUSD, starting with that on British Pound US Dollar. Now British pound US dollar, looking at the monthly chart to see overall picture in the market. Now from the monthly, we can see that British pound US dollar, currently we have seen that there was a bounce and then a rejection. This is the almost at the end of the month on British pound US dollar, expecting for the price what I think that we could see further downside. This is the monthly almost at the end of the month, and we could see further downside. We might even see a retest of this support level on British pound US dollar. Looking at the weekly chart, what we can see that from the weekly, there is a bearish candle followed by a narrower red candle. And this is the weekly impulse here on British pound US dollar. And if we see that back-to-back 2 weeks of bearish candle, this weekly bearish candle, what we can see, a very narrow wick at the bottom. And what I think that the market might try to drop again, as what we see that this is an important level of support here on British pound US dollar, and we could see further downside to retest this support, either to drop further or break to the upside, as the market has got a rejection from this resistance line. Looking at the daily chart, what we can see from the daily, here is potential bearish price action. This is a very important level of support. Now what we saw, a breakout here followed by 2 daily dojis, and the market, the way the structure is forming, which is a bearish market structure, as you can see, there is a liquidity grab multiple times here as well, so that signaling potential bearish price action. This zone here, we see that from the daily, big red candle, very narrow and smaller green candle representing potential weaker response from the buyers. Therefore, on British pound US dollar, we can expect for the price to drop down further to this support level. Now, looking at further lower time frame from the 4-hour perspective on GBPUSD, what we can see, the market is bearish. We are running a trade in that area at the moment on the downside, and what I think that on British pound US dollar, as you can see, there is quite a few liquidity candle formation, expecting for this price to drop further to this support level. So this is where what I think that GBPUSD, we could see a retest of this lower time frame resistance and then continuation pattern, and I think GBPUSD even may drop back to this order block. So this could be the wave this week on British pound US dollar. Now let's see AUD/USD. Now AUD/USD, looking at the monthly chart to see overall picture in the market. Now from the monthly, we can see that AUD/USD is, we have seen a very strong rejection from the top on the monthly. This is a monthly bearish candle, expecting further downside on AUD/USD. Now, as you can see, this is a monthly support level, and with that monthly support, there is a huge rejection. After initial correction, we can expect AUD/USD to drop down to create a new lower low. Now, looking at the weekly chart, we can see that there are back-to-back 2 weeks of bearish move, and we saw that this market has got a very strong drop on the lower from the weekly, as well as the market below this support level. We could see further downside on AUD/USD. Last week we saw a big drop, expecting continuation towards the downside. Now dropping down to the daily chart, we see that this is a big drop on AUD/USD. Quite a few days, all the candles are red, and this support here, turning resistance. And we saw last day of trading week a very narrow long wick candle on the daily on AUD/USD. And with that said, what we can expect for this price to drop down to this support or even breaking below before bouncing back or continuation to the downside. From the lower time frame price action on AUD/USD, we can see that the market trend is down. You can see there is a double top and then breakdown. What I think that with the market open, we might see even another retest and then continuation towards the downside, and this could be the wave on AUD/USD. And the price, what I think that may continue to drop even to retest this long-term support level in this zone here. So this could be the wave on AUD/USD in the upcoming week. Now let's look at euro dollar. Let's see what kind of price action it's forming. Looking at the monthly chart, what we can see that from the monthly, this is the monthly price action where we can see a series of higher low formation. Last month there is a candle that has also formed a series of higher low. As we see, this monthly candle is almost nearly closing. We have seen a break of structure here on the monthly that we can see on the lower time frame. Therefore, this month again we could see a retest of the support initially or in the middle of the month. Now looking at the weekly chart on euro dollar, this is the weekly impulse followed by a doji. Past week we saw a candle that has a long wick at the bottom, and if we look at here, this is the support level of this doji. I think that this week we might see a retest and then continuation to the downside to retest this or fill this gap or the long wick at the bottom on the weekly. And this is the weekly support. This week we can expect at least a retest of this support, as NFP might make this instrument as well very volatile. Now dropping down to the daily chart, we can see a clean head and shoulder formation on euro USD, and with this head and shoulder formation there is a breakdown, and we saw a retest of this neckline, this support here, which is turning resistance. I think that with the market open we might see further retest of this previous support, which is turning resistance. From that zone, expecting euro dollar to drop back towards the downside. Now looking at the intraday time frame from the 4-hour perspective, we can see a huge drop followed by consolidation, a series of lower high and another breakdown. Currently this week we saw a big consolidation, and what I think that this week we might see another retest, could be a retest of this support as a resistance and then continuation to the downside. We might see remaining bearish on euro USD. So with the market open, if the market goes up, could be an opportunity for potential sell on euro USD. And as you can see, there is a liquidity zone here. It might even drop back to this support, and this could be the wave on euro USD for the upcoming week. Let's look at gold. Let's see what kind of opportunity we have in gold, looking at the monthly chart again to see bigger picture. Now from the monthly, this is almost at the end of the month, and we can see that this monthly candle is closing with a long wick at the top, and this is in fact a strong rejection. As we can see, this long wick represents either wick fill or drop further. But what we have seen that in this long wick, the market has got a rejection from all-time high, and this is from the monthly. If we look at from here, it's an overextended market to the upside at the moment. If we look at this support on the monthly, in this zone there are quite a few monthly candles. You can see there is a monthly opening and closing followed by a narrow doji, followed by this monthly candle started from here. What I think that as the price and act as a magnet to the liquidity, and this is the liquidity zone here on the monthly on gold. And what I think that this week we might see further drop on gold to this monthly support, either breaking below to retest this support before bouncing back up, or we can expect at least to retest this monthly support. Dropping down to the weekly chart to see how the market is evolving, we can see that after this weekly doji, as we expected in our previous weekly forex forecast, this week for the price to come down for further correction, and we have seen that the market has dropped back to that support level. Now if we look at this week, we can see there is a long wick at the bottom, and what I think that on gold, for the price to come down further to fill that wick, and if we draw this resistance line, this week we might see the price to drop or reject from this level to drop to this support level. So dropping down to the daily chart to see how the market is doing, we can see that from the daily time frame, this is the daily candle, and there is a daily downtrend. There's a big drop followed by this correction, and we have seen another drop. Currently the price is retesting this neckline of this support here, which is resistance here, acting here as a resistance. And I think that this week, once the market breaks this daily resistance line, can act as a catalyst for further drop on the lower time frame. So looking at the 4-hour to see how the price is doing, we can see that there is a downtrending market structure here on gold. There is a huge drop, correction, another drop. The price is approaching that level again. And this week, this can be a very important liquidity zone. As you can see, there is a narrow doji on the intraday time frame, and break of this high can give further opportunity on the lower time frame for potential selling opportunities. So if we look at further lower time frame from the 1 hour, this is where what I think that the market might break initially further to the upside, and any break of this high can give potential selling opportunity on gold. Now this could be the wave this week for potential trading opportunity. I will be waiting for liquidity candle formation. As soon as we will find suitable entry, we will be looking for entry on gold. Now let's look at dollar CAD. Let's see what kind of trading opportunity we have. Looking at the monthly chart on dollar CAD, we can see from the monthly, it is forming a liquidity candle on the monthly as the market has crossed this low and forming a bullish candle. This is a potential bullish price action on dollar CAD, and even we could see in the upcoming month a break of resistance line to create a new higher high. We see that there is a series of higher low formation with a strong liquidity gap here on the monthly, which is giving potential further upside on dollar CAD. Now looking at the weekly chart, we can see that there is a weekly bullish candle with a gap opening, and starting of this rejection, we can see the price is moving to the upside on the weekly perspective, as well as this is an important level of resistance on the weekly, expecting dollar CAD to bounce back up to create a new higher high. Dropping down to the daily chart on dollar CAD, we can see that from the daily, this is a daily impulse, pretty strong impulse on daily on dollar CAD, waiting for the price to drop for a deeper pullback, and then we can expect it to continue to the upside to create a new higher high. From the lower time frame perspective, we can see it's a sharp uptrend, and for dollar CAD we will be waiting for a strong break of structure. I think that if the market managed to break from this structure, can give suitable bullish trading opportunity on dollar CAD. Now let's look at JPY pairs, how the market might do on JPY. Now looking at GBPJPY, looking at the monthly chart to see how the price is doing. Now from the monthly on GBPJPY, what we can see that this is an impulse on the monthly, followed by this month is a sharp rejection that could mean further correction on GBPJPY. As we can see, quite a few months of bullish move, expecting for the price to drop down to previous resistance, which is turning support here on GJ. Now looking at the weekly chart, we can see that from the weekly, back-to-back 3 weeks of bearish drop here, and currently the price has broken this support. We might see some reaction from the buyers that might lead the price initially bouncing, and then we can expect further continuation to the downside on GBPJPY. Now looking at the daily chart, we see this local downtrend here. There is a drop, correction, drop, correction, drop. Again, we might see further correction. And what we can expect on GJ for this price to drop, to retest this support here as a resistance, and then continue to drop to this support level. Now from the 4-hour perspective on GBPJPY, what we can expect for this price to move back up, what I think that we might see initial bounce to retest, and then we may see that further continuation to the downside on GBPJPY. Now looking at dollar yen, again looking at the monthly chart on dollar yen, we can see that from the monthly perspective on dollar yen, there is a huge rejection on the monthly, and with this rejection expecting dollar yen to come down further, as we have seen after this strong bullish market, the market managed to break below, we might see deeper pullback in this market. Looking at the weekly chart, like the GBPJPY, dollar yen also showing bearish pattern. Last week we saw a candle with a healthy body with a long wick at the bottom, expecting for this price to retest this support as a resistance and then to drop down again. Now looking at the daily chart on dollar yen, we can see that from the daily, this is the daily drop followed by narrow pullback, another drop, deeper pullback, and we saw that another drop, expecting for dollar yen to retest this support as a resistance and then to continue to drop in the direction. Now from the intraday perspective on dollar yen, we see there is a consolidation pattern here, and I think that we might see a break initially to the upside where there is a fair value gap here, and this is where expecting for dollar yen to drop back down. This is where we will be waiting for potential entry opportunity. As soon as you will find suitable entry, we will be looking for going short on dollar yen with a high probability trade setup. These are the pairs traders that we will be looking to trade in the upcoming week. In addition to that, any instrument showing significant trading opportunity also I will be posting as an analysis. Make sure you give a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel. In addition to that, if you want to learn the strategy that I am trading and also be part of Forex Trading Wizard Academy, you can find link below this video. Visit www.forextradingwizard.com, and if you want to join us to be part of a trading community, then you can find joining option. I will recommend you to join the lifetime access where you can learn and grow as a trader with me, including you can use all my trading tools. With that said, thank you, and I'll see you soon again trading live together.